Good morning everyone, welcome to Space Academy. What we are going to get you doing right now is we're going to get you doing some activity. We're going to expel that energy. So make sure you have lots of space. Go outside if you can. Make sure no one is near you. And we will begin. Right, let's start with some marching. Get those legs nice and high. Get those arms pumping, and we're going to go do this for about a minute. Keep going. Right, we're going to move on to our next exercise, so get those thumbs in, those arms into fists, and we're going to make some circles. Other way. Next we're going to pop our arms right in front of us, and we're making some more circles, starting nice and small and making them go bigger and bigger. Let's go the other way. Good job guys, get them as big as you can. Right, this time we're moving on to my favourite move. So we are going to do the grapevine. We're going to go one leg behind and then in front, and then clap and jump and back the other way. Let's see how quick you can go now. Going. Now we're going to move on to some rocket launches, so you're going to go down, down, and then jump as high as you can. Good job, guys. Right, last couple of these. Great work guys. Right, we're going to move on to some lunges now, so point your toe in one direction and push down. Keep hold of it. Then we're going to turn the other way, so we're going to push forwards, hold it, and then we're going to move to the front, so get your foot facing towards the camera. Right, last exercise, let's do some running on the spot. Go as fast as you can. Get those rocket legs going. Well done guys. Give yourselves a big clap. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.
I'm going to step off the limb. It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Oh, that looks beautiful to me, Neil. It has a stark beauty all its own. It's
Hi everyone, Commander Wilson signing on. I hope you're doing well and really enjoying your week at Space Academy. Today, you're going to learn about a heavenly hand. That sounds interesting, doesn't it? So I thought today, maybe I would show you a little bit and talk to you a little bit about all those badges that astronauts wear. Do you notice I have lots of badges all over my flight suit? I've got some you can't see too. You ever wondered why? There's some more there. Do you ever wonder why we have so many patches or what those patches mean? Did you know that every single patch has lots of meaning to it? And if it's a patch that was made for an actual flight with astronauts, the astronauts themselves work together on the symbolism for the patch. If it's a patch for a mission, then the people in charge of the mission will work together to come up with something to signify what happened during that particular mission. Let me show you a few. So I have this one here. That's cool, isn't it? So STS-130, you'll notice this one's really interesting. It's not round, is it? It's hexagonal shaped. And it kind of looks like a window. Well, there's a reason for this. So this is the mission that installed the cupola window onto the space station. And the window looks just like this, and it overlooks the planet Earth. Along the outer edge, you see the names of the 6 astronauts who were part of this shuttle mission. So that's one. Pretty cool, right? And the next one I have to show you is from STS-132, Atlantis. Now I was really lucky. I got to see this shuttle actually launch. And you'll notice, what do you see? We see the horizon, and it looks like the sun. Now is the sun rising or is the sun setting? Well, that could be up to your own interpretation. But STS-132 was supposed to be the final flight of Atlantis. And so I think it's probably like, yeah, the sun is setting, but it's also going to rise again, right? So every time the sun sets, it always rises again. And so even though Atlantis wasn't going to fly again, then it didn't mean nothing was going to fly again. And as we've seen, we're back in the space business, aren't we? And then the next one I have is really cool. This is for STS-135, and this was the final mission of the space program. Sorry, the final mission of the space shuttle program. And this one's really cool because it has gold and silver thread in it. And they don't usually use gold and silver thread. You can see it kind of sparkles and is shiny. Isn't that cool? And it's got like the NASA emblem, what they call the meatball, in the background. So they call this the NASA meatball. But then you've got the space shuttle. And you have this here, which is the Omega sign. The Omega is the last letter in the Greek alphabet. And so it was kind of like, this is the end of the program. And so that is why that was. So there's always lots of symbolism in these patches. Can you guess what this mission was going to study? There's some hints on there as well. So besides what it looks like the sun, doesn't it? And that's why, because it's a mission to study the sun. An imaging of the sun. What about this one? I'm going to cover this up. I'm going to see if you can guess where you think this one is going to study. Who's that on there? Do you recognize him? The Martian from the cartoons? So yeah, this was something for a Mars exploration rover. And then I've got a couple one here from SpaceX patches, from some of their things that they did to show that their stuff worked. Can you guess where this one went? The moon, right? So these patches have lots of symbolism in them. This is a patch I made for one of my own missions at Space Camp. And you can tell by looking at this patch where the people on my team are fun because we have all those different flags on there. And there's lots of symbolism in this too. And this one as well, this is another one of my missions where I got to go weightless with NASA. And once again, you can see there's like the Earth, and you can see where the United States is, and there's a different color in different places in the US, and that's where all of us were from, the teachers who went on it. We went on an airplane, and we flew in parabolas, which is really cool. And so there's lots of symbolism on this as well. So I thought maybe I'd give you a little challenge today. If you were going to make a patch to represent what you've learned this week, what would that look like? So maybe today, maybe tomorrow afternoon, do you want to try your hand at making your own space patch for Space Academy? Wouldn't that be cool? Well, I hope you make it, and if you do, make sure to send it my way so I can see how cool your design is. Well, enjoy the rest of your time at Space Academy today, and I'll see you tomorrow. This is Commander Wilson, signing off.
Hi, welcome to day 4 of Space Academy. I trust that you're enjoying yourselves so far during the week and particularly enjoying the craft. And hopefully you're having fun growing some seeds, making some dream catchers, making some lanterns, and maybe even designing your own spacecraft. It would be great to see what you've been up to. So do please remember to send your pictures and maybe some of your jokes to Space Academy 2021 at wattlingvalley.org.uk. That's Space Academy 2021 at wattlingvalley.org.uk. You can find out all the details on our website and where hopefully you're watching this video. But a couple of jokes for you. Why do you put a baby? How do you put a baby astronaut to sleep? You rock it, of course. Where do you find the most felines in space? In the catmosphere. Why is life on Earth so expensive? It includes a free trip around the sun every year. And why didn't the sun go to college? It already has 1 million degrees. I bet you can come up with some better ones than that. And I look forward to hearing them. Okay, so we've been following Daniel all through this week. We've seen how he was taken from his home in Jerusalem to Babylon. How he was chosen to train to become an official within the royal court, and how he studied hard for 3 years and passed his exams and became an advisor to the king. But we also heard how he remained faithful to God and stood up to the king and said, I won't eat your food, I will eat just vegetables. Because he didn't want to do something that God had told him not to. We then heard how he not only interpreted a dream for King Nezer, but that God told him what the dream was. And then yesterday, we heard the story of some of Daniel's friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, or Rakshak and Benny, and how they stayed faithful to God and stood up to the king, refusing to bow down to worship the golden statue of King Nezer. Instead, they would rather face the flaming fiery furnace. And God rescued them. Well, I wonder what's going to happen today. You see, we've jumped a few years. We've jumped many years, actually. But things are much the same for Daniel. He's still living there in Babylon. He's still working for the king. And he's still trusting in God and worshipping God alone. But there's a new king on the block. He's called King Belshazzar, or Shazza, as we're going to call him. One evening, Shazza had a small get-together with some of his friends. Well, actually, it was maybe a little party with some of his neighbours. In fact, he had an enormous banquet. Guess how many people he invited? Over 1,000 people. Can you imagine that? How much food you would need to have? I wouldn't want to be cooking for it, would you? Now the party was in full swing. Everyone was having a fantastic time. And King Shazza had an idea. It wasn't the most brilliant of ideas. He wasn't the brightest of people. But he thought it was a great idea. He remembered that ages ago, when his father invaded Jerusalem, that they brought back from Jerusalem some special gold and silver cups that had been taken from God's temple. They were really special cups to be used only in the temple and to be only used to worship God. But he called his servants to get them. And then everyone at the banquet started to drink out of them. And not only were they drinking from them, but they started to praise their gods, the gods of gold, of silver, of wood and stone. Wow, they shouldn't have done that. Suddenly, something very weird started to happen. A very scary, ghostly hand appeared. There was no person attached to it. It was just the hand. And the fingers, they started to write on the wall. And words started to appear. As soon as King Shazza saw the words, he was petrified. He was so frightened that his face turned pale. His knees started to shake and his legs became weak. I'm not surprised. I'm not sure I would stay in the room if I was there. King Shazza called for his magicians, his advisors, his wise men, and he told them, he said, if any of you can read the writing and tell me what it means, I will make you the third most powerful man in my kingdom. And you will wear royal robes and a golden chain. But do you think they could? Of course they couldn't. And now King Shazza was even more afraid. His face turned ghostly white. And no one knew what to do. So they started to panic. Quietly at first. But then the loud noise got louder and louder as people started to scream and tables were knocked over and people were trying to leave. Finally, the Queen came in, having heard all the noise. And guess what she told King Shazza? She told him about Daniel, of course. By now, Daniel was about 80 years old, which is why he hadn't come when the king called his advisors. She told King Shaza that Daniel was wise, that he was intelligent, and that he could explain dreams and riddles and solve really difficult problems. So the king sent for King Shaza. So the king sent for Daniel. Now then, he said to Daniel, if you can read this writing and tell me what it means, you will become the third most powerful man in my kingdom. You will wear royal purple robes, and you'll have a golden chain around your neck. But Daniel said, I don't want your gifts, your majesty, but I will read the writing and tell you what it means. He said, God made your father, King Nezer, very great and powerful. He was so great that people of all nations were afraid of him and trembled. But he became proud, he became stubborn, and he was removed from his royal throne and driven away from human society. He lived outside like an animal until he came to his senses and admitted that God rules all kingdoms and chooses their kings. King Shaza, he said, you knew all this. You knew what had happened to your father. You saw him living away from human society. You saw how he became wise and recognized that God was all powerful. And yet you refused to honor God. Instead, you turned your back on him. You used his special cups and you praised your gods made of gold and silver, of wood and of stone. So that's why God has sent this ghostly hand to write the words on the wall. And those words, King Shaza, those words mean numbered. Your days, King Shaza, are numbered, and you are not going to be king anymore. Wait. God says, King Shaza, that you don't weigh up to his standards and you don't do what he wants. Divided. Your kingdom, King Shaza, will be divided and it will be given to your neighbors, the Medes and the Persians. And this isn't going to happen in the future. This is going to happen this very night. No sooner had Daniel finished speaking to the king than the army of the Medes and the Persians were hammering at the door. King Shaza had fallen short of what it takes to be a king, and he was king no more. There was a new king in town, a Mede called King Darius. What a serious end to the party. I wonder what this new king is going to be like. Will his kingdom accept Daniel's God or not? We'll find out tomorrow. If you want to read that story for yourself in the Bible, you can find it in Daniel chapter 5 in the Old Testament, of course. But I wonder what you like best about that story. I wonder if you've ever borrowed things that you weren't supposed to. And I wonder what happened when you did. I wonder why you think King Shazza chose to use those special cups from the temple. I wonder how you would have felt if you were there when that ghostly hand appeared and started writing those words on the wall. I wonder what you might have done. Would you have liked to have been there at that party? I wonder why or why not. I wonder if you want to be more like Daniel and less like King Shazza, what sort of things should you be careful about? And I wonder if God wrote a message on the wall for you today, what would God like to say to you? King Shazza didn't listen to God. He knew what he was doing was wrong. And so God was angry and tried to teach him a lesson. And God showed Daniel and gave Daniel the wisdom he needed to interpret that writing on the wall. And he gave Daniel the courage that he needed to stand in front of the king and tell him that he was going to be king no more. Because he stopped trusting in God and doing what God wanted him to do. But Daniel, on the other hand, remained faithful and always remained faithful to God and trusted that God would be with him and give him the courage to speak the truth he needed to speak to power. But just like God had a message for King Shazza, I wonder what God might be saying to you. In that story, we saw that ghostly hand appear on the wall, in the room, and start writing on the wall. I'm going to invite you today to use your hand as we pray. So if you hold your hand in front of you like that, and you look at the little finger, you can see that the little finger is the one closest to your body, but it's also your smallest finger. It's the most vulnerable, maybe. So I invite you to think about those we care for, those who are vulnerable at the moment. Maybe even those who depend on us for support. Next is your ring finger. You may not have a ring on it, but it's your ring finger. And people believe it's the one that's closest to your heart because a vein goes from that finger straight to your heart. Hence, it's your ring finger. So I want to invite you to think about those whom you love, those whom you are closest to. Maybe family, maybe friends, maybe people you work with too. Your middle finger is your tallest finger. And so I invite you to think about our leaders. Leaders of local government, leaders of our national government, leaders in the world. We pray for them, that they will have wisdom, that they will have courage, that they will rule with justice. Our next finger is often the finger we point with, like that. And so we think about those maybe who teach us, those who help us to learn. It may be a teacher. It may be a friend. And our thumb, our final digit. When we hold up our hand, it points away from us. So that we think about others. We think about others around us. Maybe close to us, or maybe somewhere else in the world. I invite you to bring your palms together like that, holding them open slightly. And remember that God holds you in the palm of God's hands because he loves you and always loves you and will be with you always. And as you move your hands apart, receive God's blessing today, but not just today, every day. Amen. Thank you all. Hope you've enjoyed today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for our final day, or whenever you watch the next video. All right, take care. See you. Bye.
Hi everyone, welcome to Spacecraft. Today's craft is all about mystery secret writing or secret drawing. You can choose or do a bit of both. It's to help us remember that bit in today's story with the strange, mysterious hand that appeared and did strange writing on the wall. Well, we're not going to write on the wall. That's probably best, isn't it? But we are going to do some special mystery writing. All you need from your pack for today is your long, thin candle. And the only other things you're going to need are some paper and a felt pen. Now, I've had a little go at this already, and here's what I've made. You can see I've written space for Space Academy. Now, what's so exciting about writing the word space, you might be wondering? Well, That's not all I've done on this piece of paper. There's some more writing or drawing on this paper, but can you see it? Not yet. That's because it's mystery writing and I haven't revealed it yet. So I'm going to show you that bit now. I'm going to put my paper down on the table. Just tilt that forward so you can see what I'm doing. I've got my felt pen and I'm going to start colouring and see if I can find the mystery drawing. Got a bit of an advantage because I'm the person who drew it, so at least I know where it is. Oh, hang on. I think there might be something starting to appear. I'll colour a bit harder. And, oh yes. Let me just hold it up so you can see it coming. Can you see something starting to appear down here where I'm colouring? I haven't made those lines now with my pen. They've just started to be revealed. That is the secret mystery drawing that I did earlier. Here we go. I'll just carry on and see if we can reveal all of it. Here we are. If there's a few bits that aren't quite showing through, I'm just going to press a bit harder with my felt pen and make sure I've really gone over all the areas so that they're coloured in really well. There we go. Okay. Here it is. So where before my paper just said space, now it says space and there's a drawing of a planet. I was trying to do Jupiter, but it's a bit tricky, isn't it, to tell which one it is, really. Anyway, there's my mystery writing. Now, how did I make the mystery writing that was invisible until we coloured it in? Well, that is where your candle comes in. So you need your piece of paper. Here it is. And then you need your candle. Now, one end of your candle has got the bit that's called the wick, the bit that you would light if you were lighting the candle. Don't use that end for your mystery writing. That'll be a bit tricky. Use the other end, the bottom of the candle, the blunt end for your writing. And you're going to write with your candle, write or draw like you would do with a pen or a pencil. But you need to press really hard while you're doing it, okay? So I'm going to do some here. Here we go. I'm pressing really hard. And there we are. Done a couple of bits there. I'm going to do another bit like that. I might just go over it again. And I can't really see where I'm drawing. I can just about see it if I turn it the right way towards the light, but it's quite tricky to see. When I hold it up to the camera, I don't know, you might just about be able to see where I've pressed. It's quite tricky to see. It looks just like a blank piece of paper. And then, again, I'm going to colour over it with my felt pen. I think I'll do green this time. Here we go, colouring over it. Can you see it? Oh, no, you can't. There we go. Can you see it emerging as I colour? There we go. What have we got? We've got a smiley face. There it is. So you could use this kind of mystery writing and drawing however you like. You could make something with it. If there's someone else at your house who wants to join in, maybe you could write each other some secret messages and reveal them by colouring them in. Whatever you decide to do with it, have fun. And remember that mystery writing from today's story as well. I'll see you tomorrow for some more craft. Bye for now.
Captain's log, stardate 369.963. Following our various adventures around the planets of the Delta Quadrant, we are journeying towards the planet Ping, sister planet to the completely uninhabitable planet of Pong. Computer, what's happening? The ship has ground to a halt.
You're not wrong there, Captain.
Captain, the ship has run aground.
This is not a logical conclusion. This ship is in space, a gravityless void, so by definition, it cannot run aground.
So, what's that out the window?
It looks like a massive, great big rock to me.
So, which bit in the gravityless voids has got dirty, great big bits of rock in its spots?
Well, obviously that bit, but there is still no evidence that this is actually ground.
Well...
I say, chaps, calm down. I'm sure that we agreed that it doesn't actually matter how we describe it. What really matters is what we're going to do about it.
Right you are, Captain Kim. The big question is what you are going to do about it.
Oda!
Yes, it is I, Oda, one of the most brilliantly evil minds in the universe. Oda, fiend above all fiends, destroyer of all that is good, baddest of the bad.
Yes, we did all that yesterday. Now what on earth are you doing on board my ship?
Come to watch how you deal with my ultimate weapon, have I? Calling it the very big size of a planet bomb, am I?
You mean that's a bomb?
Exactly. And you have exactly 3.5 minutes before exploding it is, taking your precious ship and everyone in it.
I say, chaps, this is not helping. We've got to come up with a plan. Anything?
We could run around screaming.
We've tried that.
I could make us all a nice cup of tea.
I estimate that by the time the kettle has boiled, we will all have gone boom.
Where's your precious mission command now then? Huh? Of course, if the remote control you were having, you could stop it.
Quick! He's got the remote control!
Get him! Aha, now you're not so clever. We have the remote control and we can stop your silly very big size of a planet bomb.
Thinking I am that stupid, are you? The remote control needs a code to activate it, and knowing the code only is I. Foiled again are you, Captain Kim.
Captain, there's a message coming from Mission Command.
Not now, computer. I'm a little busy right now.
But Captain, it's really important.
Okay, well, put it up on the screen. It's just a bunch of numbers.
Yes, Captain, but one can assume that it's not just any set of numbers. It's the deactivation code.
No! Quick! Enter into the remote control.
7, 2, 3, 9. What's that last number?
It's a 5, Captain, but not as we know it.
5, that's it. Look, it's flashing.
It would seem logical to conclude that the very big size of a planet bomb has dropped off the front of our ship.
What about that odd smell in here? What are we going to do about him?
Maybe we should give him a taste of his own medicine.
Yes, he frightened the life out of me. He obviously doesn't appreciate my nerves.
No, our mission has been to spread the good news of Mission Command with goodness, kindness, generosity, honesty, and mercy.
Indeed, but we can't just leave him. This stink is making me feel ill.
Captain, there's another message coming in from Mission Command. It says he is their problem, not ours.
Well, in that case, we'll send him to Mission Command.
Now, Cook, did you mention a cup of tea?
I'll go and put the kettle on.
I say, what a splendid idea. I am rather parched.
Three, two, one, go, 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 go.
God made the whole wide world. He made it all so good somehow. But the world is not the same. People are to blame. Let's find out what God thinks of it now. From the ground into the sky, in a spaceship climbing high, looking back on Earth we fly, we fly. 3, 2, 1, go. Journey through space and time. We're going on a journey, journey through space and time. We're going on a journey in the Space Academy. I see the world that God can see. Just how much he cares for me. Oh, I'm on a journey through space and time. God made the whole wide world. He made it all so good somehow. But the world is not the same. People are to blame. Let's find